What's up, you guys? It's Simon with Simon Says Finance, where on my channel I hope to share with you some key financial topics to help you become more confident and knowledgeable in handling your own personal finances. So for today's video, we're going to be discussing how to get some free Christmas presents using a credit card. The reason I'm making this video is because November and December are known for being the most expensive time of the year for most families because of the cost of travel for the holidays, the food, and also gifts for Christmas presents. I know how badly some of us want to give our loved ones some good Christmas presents this year to show them how much we appreciate them, but I know oftentimes after you take into consideration the cost for travel and just everyday expenses, it's very difficult to come up with the money last minute for Christmas gifts. Not to mention, if you're younger or in college, for example, you probably don't have much money after that costly plane ride home. So today I'm going to be showing you a couple of tricks that I've used in the past to help you to make up for those couple $100s that you can use for your Christmas presents by using a credit card. So since everyone's situation is different, I decided to break this video up into 4 different categories, and you can choose which one is best for you. The first one's going to be for military members. The second one's going to be for people that don't travel often. The third is going to be for people that do travel often. And the fourth is going to be for my business owners out there. And from there, you can pick which category best fits your particular situation and your lifestyle. So off the bat, the techniques I'm going to be showing you today are going to be involving opening 1 to 3 credit cards within a short time frame. And depending on how your credit situation is initially, before you take on these techniques, you might see a couple points fluctuation in your credit score because you're opening new accounts, all with no history attached to them. And also you're going to be opening new credit lines that are going to go to your report. But these fluctuations on your credit score are going to be very minimal, probably a few points, but they also are going to be very temporary because as long as you're paying them off always in full, and also you always never miss a payment, your credit score should go back to where it was initially, and in fact it might even go higher depending on how you started. And just as a quick disclaimer, I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm just a dude on YouTube talking about finances for entertainment purposes. So anything you get from this video, it's really up to you to fact check everything and also make your own personal decisions on what you should do with your own personal finances. With all that said, let's get started. So category number 1 is for those that are in the military. So for this category, I'm going to be sharing my personal favorite credit card, the American Express Platinum. So the reason I share this credit card first is for my military members that are watching, because I know the holiday season is an extra special time for them, and this credit card is definitely a must-have for military members because of the perks that they provide, and here's why. So if you have the American Express Platinum, you'll get $200 in Uber credits per year, $200 airline travel credit, which can be used for baggage fees, drinks, etc. Free airport lounge access, which gives you access to free meals, alcohol, and oftentimes massages. Marriott and Hilton Gold status, which gives you access to free upgrades and oftentimes free lunch and dinner at their hotel. 5 points per dollar spent on flights. And right now, this card gives a sign-up bonus of 60,000 points when you purchase $5,000 within the first 3 months, which if used for travel is worth about $1,000. Now, it's important to mention that this credit card has a $550 annual fee, which brings me to the main reason why I say this is the best card for military members, is because American Express actually waives this annual fee every year as long as you're active duty. So the key thing here is that you want to make sure that you get this credit card when you think you're going to be spending some money on the upcoming months so that you can get those extra sign-up bonus points. And I can't think of a better time when people will spend more money than on the holidays. So here's how you can use this credit card to get you some free Christmas presents. So say within the next 6 weeks between now and Christmas that you plan on purchasing a round trip plane ticket for Thanksgiving, which is going to cost about $600. Purchase your round trip plane ticket for Christmas, another $600. Pay for your rent for December of $1,500. Pay for your utilities for November and December of $700. Get you some food for $300. Gas for $300, all totaling about $4,000, which leaves you about another $1,000 in order to meet that minimum spend, which can be utilized on miscellaneous items as well as Christmas gifts. And once you purchase these gifts or whatever extra items you have and you meet that minimum $5,000 spent, you'll get those 60,000 points, which I mentioned before is worth about $1,000 in travel credits. Thus, if you utilize these points for travel, you pretty much saved $1,000, which thus allowed you to pay an extra $1,000 to pay for Christmas presents. Not to mention you get the benefits from all the Gucci perks that come with owning an American Express Platinum. Now warning, notice all the items that I listed before in that example are purchases that I anticipate you spending anyways. What you don't want to do is go and try to make that $5,000 minimum spend by going and buy miscellaneous items that you weren't really planning on purchasing anyways, just so you can get these points. Because if you go and do that, you're going to be going out and spending more money instead of saving it, and the whole point of this video is to save you money, not to go out and waste it. But to recap, this is by far the best credit card for my military members out there because you get to have one of the best travel credit cards for free. Also, plus it gives you a big sign-up bonus that you can utilize for your Christmas presents. Category 2 is for people that don't really travel often, or at least not on a regular basis. So for this category, I'm going to be talking about a couple of credit cards that I recommend for people that don't really travel that often. So all these credit cards I'm about to talk about all have very similar sign-up bonuses as well as minimum spending requirements. So it's really going to be up to you to determine which credit card is best for you, or also which combination of credit cards is going to be best for you, so that you can meet that minimum spend and get those sign-up bonus perks. So the big thing you'll notice with all these credit cards is that every credit card I recommend for this category do not have an annual fee. So the reason for this is because it's hard to justify a high annual fee credit card just such as the American Express Platinum or Chase Sapphire Reserve, for example, because those perks are particularly for people that travel often. And if you do not travel often, it's kind of hard to justify paying a full $100 plus annual fee every year just to keep that account open. So for this category, the top 5 credit cards I can recommend are Capital One Savor One, Capital One Venture One, Chase Freedom Unlimited, Hilton Honors American Express, and Wells Fargo Propel American Express. So if you look at this table showing all these credit cards, you'll notice that they all have very similar sign-up bonuses as well as spending requirements in order to get those bonus points. Also notice again, like I mentioned before, they all have a $0 annual fee. The reason for this is because I'm all about saving you money, and if you don't really travel that often, I can only recommend a $0 annual fee credit card, since I know you're going to be able to keep this open long term, which thus is going to help you build more accounts, build more history, and help build your credit score long term. Plus, like I mentioned before, a high annual fee credit card really only makes sense for people that travel often and are actually going to use those perks. Also notice from this category that there are 2 cards from Capital One, 1 card from Chase, and 2 from an American Express. If you do apply for more than one of these credit cards, you want to make sure that they are from a different company, because oftentimes credit card companies do not like issuing more than 1 credit card per person within a short period of time. Also remember that Chase is known for having a 524 rule, which means that if you have applied and got accepted to 5 new credit cards within the past 24 months, that they will not issue a credit card from their company no matter how good your credit score is. So if you are considering getting a Chase credit card, I highly recommend applying for that credit card first so that you can get that accepted for the first card before you apply for the others. So now that you know what credit cards I recommend for this category, let's go through a couple of examples on how you can utilize these credit cards to get you some Christmas presents. So for the first example, say within the next month, you expect to pay $1,000 in bills for rent, electricity, gas, and etc. And you plan on needing about $300 for Christmas presents for this year. In this example, you would apply for the Chase Freedom Unlimited first to bypass that 524 rule, and then later apply for the Capital One Savor One. What this means is now you just have to use these 2 credit cards, which have a $500 spending requirement, to pay for the $1,000 bills you expect to already be paying in the next month. Then you pay it off right away, that way you can make sure you don't pay any interest. Then in return for meeting their minimum spending requirements for these 2 credit cards, you're going to get $150 back from the Chase Freedom Unlimited and $150 cash back from the Capital One Savor One, thus totaling the $300 you'll need to be able to pay for the Christmas presents you wanted, which will thus make the Christmas gifts free to you. So for the second example, say you plan on staying at a Hilton hotel when you travel for Christmas, and you plan on taking an airplane to get back home for the holidays. In addition, you expect to spend $2,000 in bills for the upcoming weeks. In this example, you could apply for the Hilton Honors American Express and the Capital One Venture One. Now what this means is that once you meet that $1,000 spending requirement for each of these credit cards, you will get in return back 75,000 points for the Hilton Honors credit card, which has about a value of $450 when used towards Hilton hotels, and you will get back 20,000 miles from the Capital One Venture One, which equates to about $200 in travel. Thus, these 2 credit cards are going to give you back a total of $650 worth of rewards that you don't have to spend money on, because you can use these to book your hotel and a flight for free, and thus gives you extra money in your pocket so you can buy Christmas presents. So big picture for this category, you're going to want to apply for those 1 to 3 credit cards, meet those minimum spend requirements so you can get those sign-up bonus points, pay those credit cards off quickly so that you don't get any interest, and then use all those points to buy your Christmas presents. And how many credit cards you actually apply to is actually entirely up to you, depending on how much money you anticipate spending in the upcoming months to meet that minimum spend, and also how much money you want back in cash rewards so that you can use that for Christmas presents. And maybe you're a person that doesn't really spend any money, or maybe you don't have any bills, so maybe 1 credit card is enough for you, and maybe you only need $150 for gifts. Or maybe you're a person that does spend a lot of money, so maybe you do want to utilize all the perks as possible, so maybe applying for all 3 credit cards and getting all the bonuses for you so that you can have more cash back rewards that you can use to spend on gifts. Either way, it's up to you to determine which credit cards and how many credit cards best fits your particular situation so that you can meet your desired goals for Christmas. So category 3 is for people that do travel often. So for this category, I'm going to be recommending a couple credit cards that I think are best for people that travel often, whether it's for leisure or for work. So these credit cards I'm about to talk about are all great credit cards. They're all very similar in terms of their sign-up bonus that they provide you, as well as the minimum spending requirement that they need to get that sign-up bonus. So it's really going to be up to you to determine which credit card best fits your particular situation, and also which credit card can you actually meet the minimum spending requirement in time so you can get those credit card bonus points. So the big thing you'll notice with this category is that all these credit cards are going to have an annual fee, but in return, they do provide a lot of good travel perks that are best for people that do travel. In addition, you also notice that the sign-up bonuses for these credit cards are going to be much higher than the sign-up bonuses for the other credit cards I mentioned in the past category. So the top credit cards that I recommend for people that travel often, and I can only find 3 for this category at the time of this recording, and they are the American Express Platinum, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Bank of America Premium Rewards. The American Express Platinum and the Chase Sapphire Reserve both give similar rewards and have very similar perks, so choosing which one is best for you comes down to which travel perks benefit your lifestyle the most. For example, if you're a person that uses Uber often, you may want to consider getting the American Express Platinum since it gives you $200 in Uber credits annually, while the Chase Sapphire Reserve does not. Or if you're a person that doesn't really use Uber but you do fly often, you may want to consider a credit card that has a higher travel credit because that will benefit you the most. In this case, the Chase Sapphire Reserve may be a better option since it provides a $300 annual travel credit over the $200 travel credit from the Platinum. Or maybe you travel often but you don't really care about having access to an airport lounge and you don't really want to have to pay a high annual fee every year. In this case, the Bank of America Premium Rewards card may be the best for you. So now that you know which credit cards I recommend for people that travel often, let's go through an example of how you can utilize these credit cards to get you some free Christmas presents. So say you anticipated spending $5,000 within the next 3 months on your bills, rent, etc. You travel a lot and use Uber regularly every month. In this situation, I would recommend getting the American Express Platinum and using that to pay for your $5,000 in upcoming expenses. That way you can get the free airport lounge access for drinks, meals, and massages, as well as $200 in Uber credits, as well as the Hilton Marriott Gold status. And once you meet that $5,000 minimum spend, you'll have those 60,000 points, which you can utilize to buy you some Christmas presents, or you can use those 60,000 points for a gift for yourself by booking a $1,000 trip at an airline of your choice for free. Now, I know American Express and Chase both provide other credit cards that have a lower annual fee, but also are supposed to be beneficial for people that travel. But if you look at this chart that I'm about to show you, you'll see why I can only recommend the other 3 credit cards and not these 2. If you don't consider the sign-up bonus to any of these cards and just the perks that these cards provide each year by keeping them open, you can see that the American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Bank of America Premium Rewards cards all give a positive value to you when you take into account their perks and their annual fee. So how I figured out each of these cards was just totaling up the perks that each of these cards provide you every year and subtract the annual fee from it and giving you the resulting value that it gives to you. Now, if you look at the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the American Express Gold, when you take into account their travel perks and subtracting the annual fee, you will see that both of them are negative. Thus, if you keep these credit cards long term, you will be losing that amount of money each year in order to keep that card open. And my YouTube channel is all about saving you money, which is why I can't recommend the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the American Express Gold card for people that travel. Maybe in the future they'll have more perks that make these cards worth it to people that travel, but for right now, they don't really make sense financially. But overall for this category, if you're a person that travels often, then the American Express Platinum, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Bank of America Premium do make sense to you because you're going to be able to utilize the perks that they provide to the max extent possible, as well as get those big sign-up bonuses that you can use for your Christmas presents, even though they do have a high annual fee. Category number 4 is going to be for people that own their own business. Now for my business owners, each business is different in terms of not only size, but also how much money it takes to operate that business on a month-to-month basis. For example, if you have an online YouTube business, you probably don't have any expenses at all. On the other hand, if you're a contractor, for example, or have a construction business, you probably have a lot of expenses every month, such as for materials, labor, and just renting tools. So depending how big your business is and how it operates is going to determine which credit card is best for you. So for this reason, I list out a variety of different credit cards, some of them that have no annual fee and also a low spending requirement, and others that have a higher annual fee but also a higher spending requirement, but also, on the other hand, give a higher sign-up bonus. So for business owners, the top credit cards that I recommend are the American Express Business Platinum, the Capital One Spark Miles or the Spark Cash, the Chase Ink Business Cash Credit Card, the Chase Ink Business Unlimited Credit Card, and the Capital One Miles Select or Cash Select. So I grouped all these cards so that the top of the list pertains to more of the bigger businesses that spend more to operate, and the bottom 3 is more for smaller businesses that don't have that many expenses. Now, as you can see from this chart, there is a wide variety of differences in not only the annual fee, but also the perks and sign-up bonuses that each of these cards give you. If you're a bigger business that can benefit from the travel perks, the American Express Business Platinum credit card may be the best for you. However, if you're a smaller business and don't have too many expenses and don't want a high annual fee to pay every year, then maybe you might want to consider one of the Chase Ink cards. Again, it all depends on how your business operates and how easily you can meet that minimum spend in order to get that sign-up bonus. So now that you know which credit cards I recommend for businesses, here's an example of how you can use these credit cards to get you some free Christmas presents. Say you operate a large landscaping business that spends $50,000 in 6 months in order to pay for various tools, supplies, and transportation costs. Now, instead of paying those expenses with a business debit card, you can decide to apply for a Spark Miles credit card and use those to pay for those expenses. After meeting the minimum spend of $50,000, you would get a total of 200,000 points from the sign-up bonus, which would equate to $2,000 in cashback rewards. Now you can use those $2,000 for business trips for Christmas, or buy your business a nice brand new zero-turn lawnmower for Christmas, all for free because you learned from this video. So overall for this category, depending on how big your business is and how much it spends on a regular basis, is going to determine which credit card is best for you and which one's going to give you the best sign-up bonus. And also, if you're one of those bigger businesses that actually spend a lot of money on a regular basis, you're going to be able to actually benefit the most by using some of the credit cards that have a higher minimum spend in order to get the sign-up bonus, but in return, you're going to qualify for those higher bonus perks. And all this is going to be made possible because you decided to pay all your business expenses with a new credit card as opposed to a business debit card. Well, that's it, you guys, for this video on how to use credit cards to get you some free Christmas presents. Now, I know there are tons of credit cards out there, but these are the credit cards that I recommend for these specific categories at the time of this recording. Now, I know the holidays can be stressful trying to get your loved ones something nice for Christmas, but hopefully after watching this video, you learned a couple techniques on how to use credit cards to get you those free Christmas presents without having to go out and spend any money you weren't already going to spend. And like I mentioned before, these techniques that I shared with you today are supposed to be used so that you can use these credit cards to meet the minimum spending requirement by paying for things you're already going to be spending money on, such as your rent and your bills. So don't take this as a reason to go out and take these credit cards and max them out by going to buy things you don't already need, such as Gucci belts and Gucci slippers, just so that you can go and meet a minimum spending requirement and get some points. Because that would be against everything this video was trying to teach you, unless you're already planning on buying those Gucci belts and Gucci slippers anyways. But overall, I hope you learned something today from this video on how you can utilize credit cards to your advantage to get you some free Christmas presents. And if you plan on getting any of these credit cards that I recommend on this video, make sure to check the description down below because I'm going to post a couple of links on some of the credit cards that I personally have and also that I recommend. And if you like what you saw here today and you want to see more of this kind of content, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you plan on using any of these techniques this holiday season to get you some Christmas gifts. But with all that said, until next time, Simon says, do as I say, and have a great day. Thank you.